New York City is full of secret private clubs, places that only the super rich and elite are able to access and afford, with memberships costing tens of thousands of dollars every month. But what happens if one of those clubs invites you, a regular person, in? What started as an exciting opportunity turned into something much stranger. This is TikToker Life with Linz, and she had something very sinister to report, and this took me on a huge deep dive, so listen up.
Put a finger down if a private members club in New York City reached out to you through DM and invited you to an athletic challenge they were having, even though you had never heard of them before and you didn't follow them. But you looked them up and saw that they boast a membership fee of $10,000 a month. You go and you compete, and even though you're injured, you win. And what you win is a free month membership. This month membership consists of unlimited massage, red light, physical therapy, personal training, cold plunge, sauna, the works.
At first, it seems really cool. This sounds like a dream, right? Like, that sounds awesome. But then everything starts to fall apart.
You're very, very excited, but you have to postpone because you're about to have surgery, which they say is totally fine. After surgery, once you're ready to move again, you contact them. You say, I'm ready. They say, can you run? Not yet. Okay, well, we'll reach back out in a week and then we'll see. They never reach out, so a week after that, you reach back out, you say, hey, I can run, I'm ready. They say, we're so busy, we have to postpone it some more. So they postpone it another 3 weeks. When it's finally time.
The first red flag here is the way that the club operates. You're injured, you postpone, they say, hey, it's no problem, it's all good. But then once you're ready to go, they're suddenly too busy for you. Like, it's kind of giving, like, they take your info and then they ghost you.
They have a ton of questions they want to ask you, personal questions. Your diet, your height, your weight, your activity, your social life, any medications you're on, anything and everything. They also tell you that you have to do blood work. Your whole first week of this month membership will be biometric testing, because the whole process is you do this week of testing, then they put it all into their AI. Then you do weeks 2 and 3 where you have your physical therapy, your personal training, you do the program they gave you, you try out all the amenities based on your testing, and then at the end of week 4, you get a presentation of all the data. Ahead of time, they tell you, don't worry about the forms, we have the forms. You go in on that first day, first thing they do is offer you something to drink. Then you go and you see the phlebotomist. They give the phlebotomist directly the forms. You never get to see them.
Like, this is starting to sound more like a lab experience than like a fitness club, gym, wellness retreat kind of thing. And that is not the vibe that she signed up for.
She takes about 6 or 7 vials of your blood. Then they send you upstairs to do your resting metabolic rate test, where they put a VO2 max mask on your face, tell you to lie on a massage table, eyes closed, don't move, and try to stay awake for 15 minutes. So you do this. As soon as you're done, you take it off, and they ask you, were you able to stay awake? Of course you were. Then you go in for your DEXA scan. The weird thing about this was they strapped your ankles together, which seemed odd. After that, you go downstairs where they have a laptop set up and an account already made for you for a sleep study. They give you this large ring that you have to wear every night for 3 nights, and you have to fill out, takes about 45 minutes of these forms online for this account they've made. They also have you download an app on your phone to connect to the ring, and they quickly give you a password that's just a bunch of numbers, and they watch you put it in right then and there, so you're signed on. They ask you what's going on with your face. You seem to have a lot of bruising or something. You look in the mirror and you have markings all over your face from where the mask was.
Big red flags. First off, this biometric testing treatment, they told her she was gonna get all this like cutting edge type of treatment. But before you get to do any of it, you have to go through this grueling week of biometric testing with like blood work, a VO2 max test, like a deep breathing mask on your face for 15 minutes. That sounds horrible. I'm so claustrophobic. And a DEX scan, which is apparently standard, but still, like, this entire process sounds very rushed and very invasive for someone first joining this club, just testing it out, seeing if they like it. Like, they're giving her 1 month free, so I think the purpose of that is after a month, you feel compelled to join the club. That's like what they want you to do ultimately.
After your client, you go back to the club because you wanted to get a workout in and some sauna. Everybody seems very surprised that you're there. And there's virtually no one there. You work out in an empty gym, although there are a ton of people working. You go, you do the sauna, and the sauna is weird because women keep coming, who are working there, keep coming in and out of the locker room and seem to be checking on you multiple times during this, and it feels very odd. Afterwards, you leave, and before you leave, you shower and you use their antiperspirant. This is important. You come back 2 days later to do a massage and red light. By this point, your armpit, which you've used the antiperspirant in, is already pretty sore. You get a massage where the masseuse talks to you the entire time. When you leave the massage room, someone is waiting for you with a beverage. You drink the beverage, they bring you into the red light room. You're in there for only 20 minutes. It's very loud. When you exit, she's waiting for you and she says, did you just fall asleep? No. Why would I fall asleep? You leave. You come back the next day for more physical testing. You mention to them, please don't put the mask too tight. I don't want bruising again. First thing they do is they ask you if you want a beverage. They offer you some types of tea. You say, the rooibos sounds great. You have to wait 10 minutes for your tea. Finally, they bring you green tea. After he brings you his tea, the man who brought it to you is talking to the masseuse. And as they're walking away, you hear him ask her if you managed to stay awake during the massage. And she says, yeah, she actually was awake the whole time. We were talking through the whole thing. Once again, why are they asking if you're asleep? Then you go up, you do some physical testing, and then you go in to do your VO2 max. Now, this is why you needed to run. However, your knee is bothering you, the one you had surgery on, and they say, oh, don't worry about it. You can do a bike. Okay, so I could have always done a bike, but you do the testing. As soon as the mask is on and you're riding the bike, you start to feel your throat is getting really tight, like you're swallowing consistently. It just feels like your throat is tightening. Your eyes are burning, your nose is burning. Afterwards, you take it off. You go downstairs to change because now you're supposed to do a float tank. As soon as you get into the locker room, you see that you already have staining all over your face. You go, you ask them about what they're using on the mask. They say, oh, just what it says to use. Don't worry, what comes with the mask. Then before you do the float tank, the woman at the front desk says, I know we say to use a bathing suit, but it's way better and you'll be more relaxed if you go naked and you can just lock the door. You go, you get undressed, put on your robe. A man takes you to the float tank. As he's setting you up, he says, don't lock the door. No one will come in, but you really shouldn't lock the door just in case we need to get in there. You do lock the door because you are naked. When you get in the float tank, you notice that the water is cold. It's supposed to be 93.5 degrees at least. It's supposed to be skin temperature to be relaxing. It is 81 degrees. There is no way to turn it up and you are just freezing. So after about 7 minutes, you get out, you get dressed, you leave. It was supposed to be a 45-minute float tank. You go up to the front desk, you tell them, you're like, hey, this isn't right. They just say, oh, sorry you didn't enjoy it. Okay. So you leave. Once you leave, you email them, you ask them what is the cleaner that they're using, and you find out they're using a high-grade medical cleaner used for endoscopes and catheters. And the VO2 Max says to be cleaned with warm water and a gentle dish soap. Also, by this point, your armpit, the lymph nodes in your armpit are very swollen to the point where you can barely put your arm down. The next day, you actually have to go to the doctor and get put on antibiotics to cure the swelling. The week after that, they bring you in for a third day of testing. During this day, you mention that you would like to be able to see your results from your sleep study, which they actually had you do for a full week because more data is better. But you can't see any of the results. So you get an email from them because you say, well, I would like to see it. They say you have to use the computer. You can't use the app. Okay, well, I don't have the password. You guys set it all up for me. They say, we'll connect you with someone. They send you an email and say, sorry, you can't get your data until we're ready to show you your whole presentation. You ask for your whole presentation. They say, we'll let you know when it's ready. A week goes by. You ask for a massage. They say they're too busy. You ask for your presentation. They're not ready. You don't hear from them from a month. Now your membership is over. You're never back. They've taken all your biometric data and you have gotten nothing out of it. And finally, now they want you to come back in. But you're too scared to go back in because you wonder, why did they keep asking if I was asleep? And everyone's told you not to go back in and you don't know what to do because they have all of this biological data on you and you feel completely scammed by it.
Now, I'm a little concerned about her privacy with all the AI stuff. Like, I feel like this is where things get serious. We're talking about a company that's collecting like an insane amount of data on you. Like personal data from blood work to sleep patterns to your physical capabilities. But when it comes time to see all of that really personal data, you're telling me you can't? And they won't show you any of it until they're ready? Like, you gotta ask, like, why? If they've like finished conducting these tests on you, why can't you see? If there's nothing more for them to collect, especially if you're only there for a month. Don't you want to show how good your services are and how much you can learn from your personal data? And then that will make you want to pay this membership fee and be there for longer than a month? Like, I feel like you would be extra accommodating for someone who's doing like a first month free trial to get them to want to come back. Come on, like that much data and no transparency? Like, what is going on behind the scenes and why are they being so secretive about it? I'm just trying to wrap my head around how if you're paying, I mean, she wasn't paying, but in theory, you would be paying $10,000 a month for this membership and they don't even have decent basic communication. Their communication with her when she needs something is so bad, but when they need something from her, it is spot on. And my big question is, where does all of this data go once your membership is up? My cat is screaming, but I promise I just fed him. I just played with him. He's very much okay. He's just a little drama queen. Okay, so what's really going on here? Now we're gonna dive into some theories. My top theory is that this is a data mining, selling biometric data kind of scheme. It really feels like you're being used for your biometric data, and they're not actually gathering this data to help you. And they're also being really secretive about these results. That type of data, especially when like compiled by AI and analyzed for patterns, is like extremely valuable. Like they really could be selling this data or at least like leveraging it to third parties, whether that's like pharmaceutical companies or like health insurance companies, or even to companies like developing AI wellness products. And the lack of transparency around how the data is actually being handled is another huge red flag. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. And I think if this club is a front for data collection or resale purposes, that it could be a very, very profitable venture. My next theory is that they're targeting like high net worth individuals for health monitoring. Like, you know that guy who is like trying to like live forever? They just made a documentary about him. He's like reverse aging. He's a billionaire. Like, I feel like he would go to something like this. Like, this club might not be in it for a quick buck. I mean, clearly it's $10,000, but they might be more looking at themselves as a high-end, high-profile way to monitor and track elite individuals and celebrities' health. And then potentially they could be using that for personalized medicine. Like, you know, the rich can get their hands on a lot more things than we can. Maybe it's curing certain celebrities' cancer. Because there are all these conspiracy theories online about how we would have had the cure to cancer at this point, but these like pharmaceutical companies are making so much money on that kind of medicine that they don't want people to have the cure, which is so sad. And it's a theory, it's a conspiracy theory. It's not necessarily true. But you know, the elite could also look at this as like ways they could enhance their performance or live longer, but they don't want to give that information to just anybody. But then like, why would they test the girl? And there's been a growing trend in wellness spaces where rich people are paying like top dollar for like very extreme specific health tracking. And it's possible that this club is positioning itself in a way as a luxury service that offers them that. And by collecting like extremely detailed data over a specific period of time, they could be trying to create this like perfect wellness program for each individual. But the issue, of course, is the lack of consent or clarity on what happens with the data itself. This is why it seems that something shady is going on. My next theory is that it's a total scam and it's just really poorly managed. We can't rule out the possibility that this is all just like really terribly managed, and this business might have like the intention of being a high-end service, but it might just be a hot mess. and they could accidentally not put in certain information, which is why she couldn't get her information. Like, it could be really unorganized. Like, maybe that's why their wellness approach is so unclear. They just don't even know what they want to be, but they know people will hear like it's exclusive and like members only and luxury and expensive, and they'll feel cool being able to say, I go there. So they'll just pay the price. Maybe they're promising a lot, but they actually aren't able to deliver on these logistics. And once again, even if they do have like poor business practices, there's still a really big issue of like personal data collection and lack of transparency. And I don't think this theory is great, because I think that really shows that like the club does have other motivations, like selling data or using the data in unethical ways, or their motivation is to be a scam and just make a lot of money. My fourth theory is that, I know this one is a little more out there, but like, what if this place is somehow involved in like a wellness cult and it's some big undercover operation? Like, think more along the lines of like tracking individuals for their studies and like behavioral research, but it's under the guise of health optimization. But like, the people in Scientology pay so much money to be a part of that. This is $10,000. Maybe it's linked to that somehow. And another thing that supports this theory is like, they're consistently asking like whether the person is awake, and then the strange behavior around the float tank. Like, the uncomfortable invasiveness about this testing could signal that this is more about like observation and control than actual health improvement. And the AI program that they claim to offer sounds suspiciously like a front for some kind of like behavioral manipulation or monitoring, maybe even to see how the person would behave under various types of wellness treatments or various types of stress. And my final theory is that this is a political stunt. Like, they could be intentionally making these weird experiences for these rich people in order to get buzz and publicity and get people to talk about their company. Like, she didn't sign an NDA, but she didn't say where it was. It's a strange way to get attention, but like, with all the secrecy and unusual tests, I'm sure people would want to go just to see what it was about, you know? Just to say they had gone and it was weird, have something to talk about. And also like the high profile atmosphere, like you have to be somebody to go there. It's like when there was a shoe company, it's like a really cheap discounted shoe company, and they pretended that they had a luxury store, and they had all of these fashion influencers come and talk about their like $20 shoes, but they were marked up to be like 20,000. And the influencers were like, yeah, like this is one of a kind, like you can't get this anywhere. Like, and this is so high in quality because, and then it was like a $20 shoe, but you know, it fooled them. But that was a social experiment, and maybe this is something similar. And then clients keep coming back because they are like an elite, next level kind of place. And even if the clients don't really understand it, they don't care because they feel like they are better than everyone else for going there. And the more they can get their clients to like invest in the service, the more like prestige and attention that they can generate. It can be like, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift goes here. You're gonna go there just because Taylor Swift goes there. Or you're more likely to go there or know about it at least. I think it is pretty safe to say that this like private members only club has crossed some lines and some boundaries. And like, if they wanted to offer this like exclusive high-end wellness experience, that would be one thing, but it's starting to feel like they're using people's personal data for something much less transparent. Can we all agree on that? Like, there has to be some ulterior motive if these people can't even access their own data. And other people online seem to agree. The comments in this video are very telling. No one seems on board with this. Everyone's like, contact the FBI. This is weird. This seems illegal. And look, everything in this video is alleged. I'm saying that now, and that stands for the whole video. Everything I say is alleged. There's no proof. Oh my gosh, he is in my sink. A lot of people are referring to this TikTok video by Anthony Rich Park, and they're saying that they think it is a gym called Continuum. And in this video he posts, there is nobody in the background, I will say, but this is all alleged, and I have literally no idea. I'm just saying what the commenters are saying, so don't come for this company. Don't. We're just gossiping.
Come spend a day with me at a $10,000 a month gym with a maximum of 250 members. Technology is advancing at incredible speeds, and so are the capabilities to give us a healthier and longer life. Working out and lifting is not just one aspect of the wellness journey that I've stumbled into. Proper food is available, but today I opted for a juice and a little downtime and some work in the lounge before I started doing a full recovery. This is where the membership shines, starting out with red light therapy that's optimal for all things regeneration, whether it's skin or muscles. I didn't get to go to the Red Sea when I was in Israel, But that's what this float therapy is supposed to feel like with over 1,000 pounds in salt. You feel as though you're hovering. It's a time for you to reset and calm your mind. I obviously paid no attention to the cold plunges to my right, but I did sneak a few minutes in the dry sauna while you weren't looking. To end my full day of recovery, we spent some time in the hyperbaric chamber, but of course work had to be done. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
But like, once again, that is a private members only like wellness club, and it is $10,000 a month. It gets even crazier though. After the video went viral, she posted this update.
When I went to the initial challenge, I asked the other people there, like, did they reach out to them? And everyone there either knew somebody involved or like had been following them and requested like an invite or something like that. I was the only person that was individually just like reached out to by them. And I don't like have a large following anywhere or anything. I'm in the fitness industry, but like I don't know why or how they found me. And on top of that, while I was getting the testing done, I saw men using the facility, but the only other people I saw like getting the testing done were women. Now, I wasn't there a ton, but the only other people were like women around my age.
It's like they were all in on it. Like maybe everybody else in the competition were employees.
You go and you compete, and even though you're injured, you win. Even though you're injured, you win.
Like, who is behind this? Maybe it was someone she knows. Maybe, like, she's involved in something shady, or she doesn't even know she's involved in something shady. And look, I am not saying, and she is not saying that they are definitely 100% doing something shady, but like, there's all of this weirdness around the privacy and the testing and the lack of follow-up. Like, it makes you really wonder what's going on behind closed doors. And with a membership fee of $10,000 a month, like, that's a lot of money, and I really can't help but think like something more is going on here than just wellness. And maybe she didn't have access to it. Maybe this really is like a thing for the elite, because you know how weird they are. So after reviewing all of this, what is my final take? I think if you're trying to join this high-end wellness club, you need to do your research first. The experience in this video, and we don't know what company it is, I want to repeat that, we don't know, but the experience in this video is very concerning. This is a very invasive amount of data they're collecting, and then they don't really seem to care about the consumer, and they're not really following through. So I would not trust a place like this. And if you're looking to go to a luxury wellness club, you should at least be treated with some like respect, and not as some like creature being tested on in a lab in some science experiment. Let me know what you think is going on. And if you want to like be involved in my life, you can follow my Instagram. Subscribing and liking really helps too. I'm a growing channel, so any sort of interaction like means the world to me. Stay spooky, guys.